It's now 6 o'clock right here on Big Breakfast. Today FM, today's hit music.
Hey, I'm Pauline.
And I'm Alan. Tune in to the Breakfast Show on Today FM with Pauline and I every weekday morning.
From 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.
Right here on Today FM, today's hit music.
Today FM, today's hit music.
In this bulletin, 6 men appear in Lambasa court for alleged cultivation of illicit drugs. Fumes in cabin forces Fiji Airways flight bound for Auckland to turn back. And government to give free textbooks to all students from primary right up to secondary level. Good evening, I'm Jackie Spate and this is FBC News. 6 men appeared in the Lambasa court this afternoon for alleged unlawful cultivation of dangerous drugs. Police spokesperson Ananai Soro says another man was held back for further interrogation. 4 of the 6 were remanded in custody at Vaturekuka to reappear next Monday, while the other 2 remain in custody and will reappear in Lambasa court tomorrow. The 7 were arrested following a number of raids during Operation Sasamaki in the Northern Division over the last few days. More than 2,000 plants suspected to be marijuana were confiscated in the raids. Another 1,900 plants believed to be marijuana were uprooted from 2 other farms yesterday. A Fiji Airways aircraft remains grounded at Nadi Airport following an incident where fumes entered the cabin during a flight. The Boeing 737-800 plane was on its way to Auckland yesterday morning when it was forced to return to Nadi. Christopher Chand reports.
The flight to Auckland left shortly after midnight early Wednesday morning with about 154 passengers. A few minutes after takeoff, the cabin began filling with smoke. This footage was uploaded on the internet. The aircraft turned around and landed at Nadi Airport, much to the relief of passengers. However, many were left frustrated after the ordeal, questioning why oxygen masks were not deployed to help them breathe properly. Their frustration seemed to have escalated on the ground at the lack of assistance from authorities. But Fiji Airways CEO Stefan Pishla says safety remains their paramount priority. Pishla says the problem was from a failed check valve that allowed hydraulic oil into the air conditioning system. He says due to the fumes and oil smell reported in the cabin, the aircraft had an air turnback and landed safely without any incident. Following the Malaysian Airlines and Air Asia disasters, Fiji Airways has indicated they will ensure the highest levels of safety at all times.
What we have to do is 100% compliance. 100% compliance with the international regulators, with IOSA, etc., and benchmarking ourselves, internal audits, external audits, and that's what we do. So we are very, very focused on providing safe and secure air travel.
1 passenger received medical attention. The passengers flew out to Auckland on another flight last night. Aviation regulator, the Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji, says they are not required to investigate the incident, but are being updated on the airline safety investigation process. Christopher Chand, FBC News.
Fiji Airways has stated oxygen masks are automatically deployed in the event of cabin depressurization. In such an incident where fumes are reported, the natural assumption is that there is a fire, and if you add oxygen, it will only ignite it. Without knowing the exact cause of the fumes, the captain decided not to take any risks. Warnings are being issued to those found fishing or involved in other recreational activities in areas declared emergency zones following the recent breakage of a sewage trunk line in Namboa. The police so far have not arrested anyone, but say they will if people do not adhere to the rules stipulated under the Environmental Emergency Declaration. Savara Tamboa has more details.
The police maritime unit has been deployed on the FDB foreshore and found some are still fishing in waters declared restricted.
Point in time, have been issuing warnings to those found in the restricted areas, because we have to be mindful as well. Some people are not fully aware of the declaration as well. So those are the initial steps that we're taking.
The force will take enforcement to another level if people still do not adhere to the decree.
We do come across some situations where there is resistance, then we will have to enforce the regulation, and people could find themselves facing up to a fine of $2,000 or a 12-month imprisonment term.
The environmental emergency zone was declared from the mouth of the Reo River eastward to the FDB foreshore in the aftermath of last month's raw sewerage spill. Sabaira Tambua, FBC News.
The Acting Permanent Secretary for Education has accepted Deputy Secretary for Primary and Secondary Education Basundra Kumar's request to withdraw her letter of resignation. This is to allow for necessary investigation to be carried out by a committee on unrevealed allegations made against her in a Ministry of Education report. Kumar will remain on suspension pending the investigation, and she will be given an opportunity to respond to the allegations. Parents and guardians have been relieved from buying school textbooks this year. The Ministry of Education has announced it will provide textbooks for all students from primary right to secondary level. Eleanor Torangaivu has the details.
The news couldn't have come at a better time as families are out shopping for the new school year. The government will supply the textbooks by March at the latest.
It's good for most parents, especially those who are struggling with the cost of living nowadays. So, yeah.
I've heard that government is giving free textbooks, but a lot of us here are still buying textbooks. We are confused because the list is being given from the school.
It's a good idea and it will help parents.
Now, some people are very poor in Fiji, good for them they're getting books free.
While it is a good news for some, personally, I think it's our responsibility as a parent to buy books for our children. But it's free, so it is beneficial to us.
The Ministry of Education says it's in the process of printing materials for classes and subjects. For the time being, Education Minister Dr. Mahendra Reddy says schools can use materials in their possession from last year. School heads have been informed not to provide a textbook list to students or parents. Parents already provided a school textbook list. I advised the books will be provided in school. Schools will also have soft copies of the full set of materials for the students. Soft copies for materials for years 1 to 13 will be uploaded on the ministry's website for the students to download. Term 1 begins on the 19th of January and ends on the 24th of April. Eleanor Torangaivu, FBC News.
Coming up, Prime Minister Vorenge Bainimarama says there is no need for a parliamentary committee on sugar.
Nisambula, oyo Mr. Ben. Kelapa. Nama kikira ndevi mataka moni tikira borumbu kamena ono kenediwa ena bula FM.
Welcome back. This is FBC News. Opposition MP Professor Biman Prasad is calling on the government to institute a parliamentary committee on sugar to ensure the sector's viability. However, Prime Minister and Minister for Sugar Vorenge Bainimarama says no such committee is needed, with the industry reporting record prices and increase in sugar and cane production. Maggie Boyle tells us more.
It used to be the backbone of the national economy until it fell behind several years ago. Now the sugar industry is slowly getting back on track, but opposition MP Professor Biman Prasad says more should be done.
I don't think the 2015 budget addresses adequately the problems within the sugar industry. We may have had some increase in the production of cane from 2013 to 2014, and that's good news. But the problems in the sugar industry will not go away, and some people who are running the sugar industry don't have any idea.
However, speaking to FBC News, Prime Minister and Minister for Sugar, Orange Bainimarama, says there's no need for such a committee. Bainimarama says the industry is in capable hands, and this has resulted in a record cane payment to farmers last year of more than $88 per tonne of cane. He adds compared to previous years, both cane and sugar production has increased significantly. Prasad argues, though, that a bipartisan approach needs to be considered.
I call upon the government and indeed the Prime Minister to support an appointment of a parliamentary committee on sugar so that that committee can work in a bipartisan manner and address some of the serious issues with respect to the sugar industry and the way forward. So we would urge government to support the formation of a parliamentary committee.
Another area of concern Prasad raises is the removal of the European Union agreement, which comes into effect in 2 years.
The opposition MP says they will be pursuing their call for a parliamentary committee on sugar in Parliament in 2015. Parliament is scheduled to sit on the 9th of February, and there's no indication yet from Prasad whether this matter will be brought in the first session. Maggie Boyle, FBC News.
The Ministry of Health is advising the public to destroy the breeding grounds of dengue-carrying mosquitoes. This follows reports that the Centre for Communicable Diseases is receiving reports of 3 to 5 cases of dengue fever from the divisions weekly. Sakyus and Ivor reports.
Empty bottles, tires and rubbish dumps when not well monitored can create breeding places for dengue-carrying mosquitoes. Dr. Kama is advising members of the public to be responsible and destroy breeding grounds for dengue-carrying mosquitoes.
We have obtained what I've just obtained in terms of the data for mosquito surveillance. We work on something called the Bruto Index. And this basically is a benchmark. There's a benchmark, or there's a cutoff point where we say there's a lot of mosquitoes or there's little mosquitoes.
At the moment, the Bruto Index reveals that there is no outbreak of dengue fever in the Central Division. A cleanup campaign was launched late last year.
With the cleanup campaign, this is basically we're trying to mobilize the communities, at least in the Central Division, and we are hoping that this will be exemplary for the Northern Division, the Central Division, for the Northern Division, the Western Division, and the Eastern Division. It will be exemplary, where they will also work in mobilizing the communities, whatever level the community is, to destroy the breeding sites of mosquitoes.
Various forms of media have been used to inform the public about the causes of dengue fever and ways to prevent cases. Health officials are also visiting villages and other areas to disseminate the message. Sakyusa Nebo, FBC News.
The government of the French Republic has declared January 8th a day of national mourning following the death of 12 people in an armed attack on the offices of French weekly newspaper Charlie Hebdo early this morning. The French embassy in Fiji is flying its flag at half-mast for a couple of days, and a book for condolences will be open for the public at the embassy. The EU Pacific Delegation Office in Suva also paid a tribute to the victims of the attack by observing a minute of silence and taking down its flag. The flag at the EU ambassador's home flew at half-mast today. Turning on to more world news, police in France have reportedly identified the 3 men who attacked the offices of a satirical newspaper in Paris. 12 people were killed, including the magazine's editor and 3 cartoonists. The newspaper was petrol-bombed in 2011 after printing an image depicting Prophet Muhammad. And on that note, sports is up next. Here's Jamie with the latest.
Good evening. Coming up, Ben Ryan to release some of his reps for the Ulinakau Sevens tomorrow, and Fiji netball side gear up to take on the Silver Ferns. This and more after the break.
Gold FM, only the classic hits. Beautiful song from the group Firehouse and When I Look Into Your Eyes. Before that, you heard from Smokey Robinson with One Heartbeat. We'll take a short break and join us in the next hour for more music from Seal. Bulavanaka. I'm DJ Tora. Join me every weekdays, 7 until midnight on the Premium Classics. Right here on Gold FM, only the classic hits.
Welcome back to FBC Sports. The failure of the Vodafone Fiji Sevens side to win at the Dubai and South Africa Sevens will have repercussions for some players. National coach Ben Ryan says he needs to pick on form and also select players who can get Fiji back to winning in New Zealand and the USA next month. Indra Singh has more.
The players are back training under the watchful eyes of the coach, and it's a crucial time for them to prove a point after not a good outing last month.
Look, we didn't win both last tournaments, so it wasn't like Gold Coast where you're thinking of, you know, the team all did well and there's not many changes to make. We had to make 3 because of guys going overseas after Gold Coast. This time around, you know, not everything went as planned on the field, and you look at all sorts of things, and my job as coach is to put the best 12 together. So I'll be looking hard at that. Hand on heart, I'll be surprised if there's not 1 or 2 changes, I've got to say.
Just one pass. Ryan's philosophy is about performance-based selection, and this is what he will retain, but says it's all about gelling his gladiators as a team.
Got lots of enthusiasm, that's good. Obviously you can see that they know there's competition for places. We've got 4 weeks to really get stuck into every area of our game really, so it's just about right. It's a nice amount of time. It's not too much, but it's enough just to make some changes.
One man who is sure to make the side is skipper Osea Kolinisau. He says they are all disappointed with Dubai and South Africa, but each tournament is a new battle.
Tournament coming up, Wellington, is just in February. I think it's too late. If we spend holidays, then we start again. It's a whole lot of work to start from start again. But we've been keeping up, and I think the boys know the importance of winning Wellington. It's just we have a chance to get back at South Africa and try and maintain the top position.
Under the hot Pacific Harbour sun, the boys are sweating and trying to prove it to coach Ben Ryan that they deserve a spot in the final 12. Wellington and Vegas coming up. Who will be the 12 will be known in another 3 weeks' time. Indra Singh, FBC Sports.
Meanwhile, Ryan will be releasing some players to feature in the Ulu Nakau Sevens to be played in Nausori tomorrow.
Case by case, so there's some boys that I don't want to play there. They've had plenty of game time. Oscar, for example, Save, Apisai Domalailai. Those boys, there's no need for them to play. Whereas there's others, like Gamosi is a good example. Katoni Bao hasn't played much rugby in the last couple of years. Boys that were on the fringes in the last couple of tournaments, Wangatambu, Rocco, those guys, Johnny, Goloro, they need to play. So they'll get released from camp either tonight or tomorrow morning, so they can play, and obviously I'll go across and watch as well.
The national squad breaks camp tomorrow and will regroup on Monday. The Wainuvula Indo-Fijian Sevens team is geared up for the Ulu Nakau Sevens starting tomorrow. The team has been playing together for nearly 3 years now and is looking to start the new year on a high note. 6 teams will take part in the Indo-Fijian category of the tournament this week, and Wainuvula may well be one of the favorites to take the title.
We have been preparing really well. The festive season just passed by, so the fitness level isn't up to expectation. So through experienced players, maybe we can get a few set pieces right.
The Ulu Nakau Sevens kicks off at Ratu Dakabau Park tomorrow, with the finals to be played on Saturday. With the first meeting of the Silver Ferns on home soil for the Fiji netball side, coach Kate Carpenter has set her goals for the big match and for the Oceania Tri-Series. She also expects her young Chargers to make the most of this rare opportunity to play the Kiwis on home court. Chalenda Dakadaka reports.
Prime Minister Vorengenpoina Marama paid a special visit to the Fiji Pearls training session at the Netball Centre in Suva yesterday. This has reinforced the mammoth task that lies ahead for the side in preparing for the Oceania Tri-Series against the Silver Ferns and Samoa in a fortnight.
We're focused on being successful, and success can be measured in a number of different ways. We last played the Silver Ferns in 2011 at the World Cup in Singapore. So it's been a long time since we've played the Silver Ferns, but in fact played any top 10 nation with the exception of Malawi. So we're looking at getting better, putting a good performance together and getting better across the series.
Making her return to the national fold after a lapse of 2 years, Mere Nailiko was surprised with her appointment to lead the squad. However, the rugged defender is ready to lead the team.
It was hard getting back, seeing the girls, the new faces, but I knew with perseverance and if I put my head into it, I would make it if I really wanted it.
The Fiji Pearls side will go into camp from Monday next week to prepare for what will be a tough yet exciting challenge. Talento the Kazak, FBC Sports.
The Fiji Under-17 football team is set to take on the best from the region at the Oceania World Cup playoffs in Samoa next week. Coach Kamal Swami says his side has prepared well and is ready for its opening match. Josephine Navula has the details.
Bonding as a team, these youngsters are keen to don the white jersey and take on the challenge against other teams at the Oceania World Cup playoffs. Head coach Kamal Swami says the players have proven their worth at training and preparation phase, and now it is up to them to put it into practice.
Working together well, we work together well with the district team, and I think we'll do well with this team, and the boys are shaping up very well.
The team is up against New Zealand in their first match, and they know it won't be an easy task.
And we have been working on our game model so that we can counter them with our game plan so that we play well against New Zealand.
Swami adds he is enjoying working with the youngsters.
They are learning very fast, and in future I think they will be great players, and we hope they do well in this tournament too.
The side also selected their final 20-member squad yesterday, and according to coach Kamal Swami, it was very difficult to select the players as they were all good. Josephine Navula, FBC Sports.
And that was your sports for tonight. Good evening.
The foreign ministers of Fiji and Solomon Islands have met to renew negotiations over the long-standing air travel dispute. The row over air service agreements has prevented airlines of both countries from flying between Solomon Islands and Fiji since July last year. Foreign Minister Ratuinoke Kumbombola met with his Solomon Islands counterpart, Milna Tozaka, in Honiara yesterday to reopen the latest round of negotiations after several previous attempts failed. Tozaka told Radio New Zealand International that resolving the impasse is one of his newly elected government's top priorities. Kumbombola and Tozaka will meet in Fiji next week to continue negotiations. Fine weather conditions apart from isolated afternoon or evening showers were experienced over the country today. A trough of low pressure remains slow moving over Solomons and extends southeastwards over Vanuatu. Another trough lies over southern Tonga and southern Cooks. Temperatures: another day of maximum temperatures in the 30s. Lambasa had 31, Suva 32 and Nandi hit 33 degrees. Brief showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands are expected tomorrow. Elsewhere, fine apart from afternoon or evening showers and isolated thunderstorms. Further outlook for the weekend is particularly Saturday. Expect some showers over the interior and eastern parts of the larger islands. Elsewhere, afternoon or evening showers. Recapping our top stories, fumes in cabin forces Fiji Airways flight to Auckland to turn back. Government to give out free textbooks to all students from primary right up to secondary level. And the Education Ministry has accepted Basundra Kumar's request to withdraw her letter of resignation pending an investigation into allegations made against her. To our poll question now this week, we're asking, will your back to school shopping cost less this year? Visit our FBC website to take part. Remember, you can send us newsworthy pictures and videos on email citizenseyes@fbc.com.fj or share it with us via Facebook page FBC News. And if you're on Twitter, follow and tweet us your news tips at FBC News or simply hashtag FBC News. That's all for tonight. Good evening.